We are hearing Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we started this 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga, the principle of devotion, where Arjuna asked Krishna, there are two types of worshippers. Some are worshipping you as Supreme Lord. Some are worshipping impersonal Brahman. Which of the two is better? Then Krishna said, those who worship me as Supreme Lord, they are better. The others, they will ultimately also attain me, but with much difficulty. No, this will come today. No, it was already yesterday in brackets, but with the greatest possible difficulty. Yes, it was in brackets, but actually Krishna will say today in this verse, 5th verse, Kleshodhika tarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukham dehavad bhir avapyate. The worshippers of the nameless, unmanifest, abstract Brahman shall have to experience great difficulties. For abstract Brahman as the ultimate goal is attained with the greatest possible difficulty by the embodied souls. Explanation. But the worshippers of the nameless, unmanifest, abstract Brahman shall have to experience a lot of difficulties and troubles, greater than those of the worshippers of the manifest absolute person, as the path leading to the former is beset with obstacles for the embodied souls. The difference between a Jnana Yogin and a Bhakti Yogin is that the means process adopted by the Bhaktas, that is, chanting the name of the Lord with complete self-surrender, is identical with the end, who is Godhead himself, whereas the negative means is not this or not that, Brahman adopted by the Jnanins to attain the nameless, unmanifest absolute, is a source of troubles and is beset with dangers and difficulties. They have to deny all material things, not this, not that, to ultimately come to that impersonal Brahman. But devotees, they already from beginning, they worship Krishna, who is also the ultimate end. Then Brahma says to Sri Krishna, O Lord, the labor of those who, setting aside bhakti, the source of all well-being, toil for mere dry Gnosticism, ends in fruitless trouble like the toil of those who thresh empty husks of corn. This is one of the prayers of Brahma to Krishna in 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, after he surrendered to Krishna and realized everything by his grace. Then he told that it is like empty husk of grain. Everyone wants to get grain, so for that you have to make this effort to separate husk from grain. But if there is no grain inside, no rice, only that, and you are only beating, then no use. So by that process of jnana, one cannot attain Supreme Lord and will only end up in trouble doing all this effort fruitless. So striving after oneness with Brahman without the cultivation of bhakti is a painful drudgery. ending in no faith in the ultimate reality, without whose realization all kinds of sadhana at the outset must prove a miserable failure in the long run. Brahma continues, because we all want happiness, all sentient beings, those who feel, they want happiness and they want to remove their miseries. Everyone, it is the same by default. So unless you get happiness, then that labor is useless. There was one during the time of Prahlad Maharaj. Previously, there were pious kings. Nowadays, it is a bit different. But at that time, there were pious kings. They were really thinking about the welfare of their citizens. So what happened in those days? Kings used to go to the people to ask them what if they have any difficulty, and then they would help them solve those difficulties. But sometimes they would also go in disguise personally to those, because some would not be able to express their difficulties to the king. So king, he was thinking, anyhow, I have to help my people. I have to help them. So he even went up to this extent that in disguise, not like as a king, but he was very eager to know if they have any problem and he wants to help them. So like that they were going. Such kings are there also. Now in Kali Yuga, a bit rare, but at that time they were like this, thinking about the welfare of the people. So Prahlad Maharaj also, he was king after Hiranyakashipu was killed. He went to see his citizens and if anyone has any difficulty. So they were going with some ministers, and even now, some time back in Calcutta, there was one person like this who used to, in disguise, go and help people. Some Muslims also, they were like this. So always there are some good people. So Prahlad went and he saw on the street, on the road, by the side of the road, there was a sand. One man lying there, not doing anything. Then all ministers thought he's some crazy person there. Many people going on that road, going to job and back and doing this and so many things, but he's lying. It is in Bhagavatam. Then Prahlad Maharaj understood that these ministers, they are unable to understand. So Prahlad Maharaj king, he went to him and he bowed down to him. Full dandavat on the ground, Shashtanga dandavat pranam. Then all ministers, they were astonished. What is this? Our king, he's giving obeisance to one crazy man. Then Prahlad Maharaj, in order to make them understand, he asked that person, you are a young man, and also you have health, strong health, you are stout, you can work very hard. Why you can work very hard, you can earn money, you can build one hut, cottage, and you can stay there. Why you are not, you see all these people, they are working for their happiness, whole day and night they are working. Why you are also not working for happiness? Then that sadhu, he also knows Prahlad, because sadhu can recognize sadhu. That is why Prahlad could understand him and he understood Prahlad. Because one learned person can understand the qualities of another learned person. One who, like for example, if I don't know some language, like Czech language, then I cannot understand if that another person speaks good Czech language. I cannot understand because I don't know. But one who knows Czech language, he can understand, yes, he's very good speaking. So like that, learned man can understand learned man. And devotee or realized soul can understand another realized soul. Others cannot understand. That is why they were thinking he's one crazy man. But Prahlad Maharaj understood. So then that man replied, yes, it is true. They are working for happiness, but they are not getting. So why I will work for happiness? No one is getting actual fulfillment. They're getting trouble. And he said, I went not only here, I went to all upper worlds and the lower worlds, everywhere I went. I was closely observing. Everyone working for happiness, but no one is happy. Then what is the use of trying for happiness? So I am lying down here. Means to show that there is no need of working for this type of material happiness because one will not be fulfilled. Then that man, you will find more details in Bhagavatam. That person said, but there is one happy person I know. That is you, Prahlad. Because you have taken shelter of Supreme Lord and you are always serving him. Always you are remembering him, thinking of him, you are having contact with the absolute bliss. So only you are happy. But those who are trying for getting happiness by their own effort, avoiding the devotion to Krishna, they cannot be happy. I saw it. So why I will do this thing? That does not mean that we should only lie down and do nothing, imitating him. No. Devotees, they will worship Krishna, serve Krishna, and because we are not liberated soul, we will work as much as is necessary for minimum necessities, material necessities, so that we can serve Krishna. Not too much, not too less. And in relation to the service of Krishna, then that is. But this sadhu wanted to show that those who are thinking that by amassing material things we will be happy, that is not true. And there are so many practical examples. You can see rich persons like this. Ultimately, they have to take drugs and sleeping pills and they commit suicide and so many things. Why? If they have all these things. So many examples there. So, is a miserable failure in a long run. Even this, to try for impersonal realization, is a difficult process. You have to control your senses, you have to control your mind and detach yourself. It is not so easy process. But even by this process, you will not get that fulfillment which Jiva wants. Cannot get. You cannot get by material enjoyment, nor by renunciation or like merging yourself in that impersonal Brahman. I am one with Brahman. Cannot fulfill the jiva because that is not her constitutional position. Like hand in the body cannot be happy unless she gives food to the stomach. When gives food to the stomach, then stomach will distribute and hand will be benefited. But if hand wants to take by herself, then she will not be benefited. Like that, our constitutional position is such that we are eternal servants of Krishna. So only in the service of Krishna we can actually be nourished, we can actually be fulfilled. So here Brahma continues, O lotus-eyed Supreme Lord, intelligence cannot be pure without devotion to Thee. Those who, with their impure mind, pretend to think that they have been freed are, after having approached almost near liberation with severe austerities, hurled down again to this region of relativities for want of devotion to Thee. This is very famous verse of Brahma. It is when Supreme Lord Shri Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, before he appeared. At that time demigods understood that Supreme Lord is in the womb. We will hear about this during Janmashtami. Then they were offering their prayers. So one of those prayers is this by Brahma. There are some who, by their immense austerities of this controlling the senses, controlling mind and detaching and like this, ultimately they think, now we are liberated. Now we are supreme reality. And we got this by our own effort. And they have no adoration for Supreme Lord, who is the shelter of all, because lack of devotion. So that is impure intelligence, impure conception. They think now we are supreme. But because they lack devotion to Krishna and they are not admitting that Krishna is the giver of all fruits, even this fruit of almost getting liberated is given by Krishna. You cannot get independently of him. No any jiva is at any time independent. Not possible. So if one thinks I am solely independent, then that is false ego. So they are thinking like that, and because of that offense to Supreme Lord, they have to fall down to get lesson. And there Brahma says they will fall down even more down than they were before they started that practice, just to get the lesson that you are not supreme. You are falsely thinking you are supreme, but you are not. So now you will have to understand this point. They cannot understand why I have to go down. I came up by my own effort. Why now I have to go down? Then they understand there is some superior force there above them. Then after inquiry, they can come to know. Then they will also submit to Krishna. Many also they submitted. So that is impure mind. The jivas are eternal spiritual entities. If they pretend to merge themselves in the nameless, unmanifest absolute, the idea is simply suicidal. As oneness of the infinitesimal with the infinite absolute is absurd. They think we are one. But Upanishad clearly says, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Jo Vidadhati Kaman. There is one eternal among many eternals. There is one conscious among many conscious. This one is fulfilling the desire of many. This one eternal is Krishna. And many jivas, they are also eternal, but they are many and they are subordinate. One consciousness means eternal. Matter is not conscious, soul is conscious. So, one conscious among many, and this Eko Bahunam, Jo Bidadha, this one, he Eko bahunam jo bidadhati kaman. He is fulfilling or maintaining them, others. Without his grace, Krishna is the only maintainer, protector. Without his will, nothing can happen. Others may be instrumental, but he is maintainer. If he gives, you can get. If he does not give, you cannot get. However hard you try, or others may try to help, but it is impossible. So, to think I will become one with that impersonal Brahman is absurd. Because that Brahman is light coming from the body of form of Krishna, transcendental form of Krishna. And we are one small particle of consciousness, but those who don't have full realization of transcendence, they only understand we are not this matter, gross and subtle. We are spirit. And that is also spirit, so only qualitative oneness they are able to feel. But they don't understand that in reality there is quantitative difference also. And if you go more deep, even qualitative difference is there, because we are potency of Krishna and he is potent, one who possesses. We are his servants. But on their level of realization, they can only realize we are spirit, we are eternal, and that is also spirit that is eternal, that is vast, and we are like small, but when we will merge, then there will be no any our individual identity. But that is false. It seems to them like that, but it is not eternal reality. That is why they have to fall down from that level of realization, or by the grace of pure devotees, they can realize that we are eternal servants of Krishna and they will accept devotion. Then they can progress from that realization up. It happens also many times, and some fall down, depends what happens, if they accept or not. So here it is absurd. One small particle can never become the whole. Impossible. We are always particle only. Yes, we have qualitative oneness with Krishna because he is conscious being and we are conscious being. He is eternal, we are eternal. That is okay. But there is quantitative difference. He is big, we are small. And further, there is qualitative difference also. He is the source, we are the effect. He is the potent or the substance or energetic. We are potency or energy or his servants. We are possessed by him. We are not owners of anything. Even ourselves, we are not owners. We are owned by Krishna. But he is a good owner. Nowadays, they are trying to own everything and saying to others, you will own nothing, but you will be happy. That is false, because they want to exploit. But reality is, none of us owns anything, actually, even including ourselves. We are not the owners. That is our false conception. Maya, illusion. From this illusion, we have to wake up by the grace of pure devotee and realize we all belong to Krishna. Everything belongs to him, but he's a good owner and master. If we are engaged in his service, then we can be fully fulfilled. Really, we can be really happy, but not by any other proposal. Either you may own whole world, you will not be happy. Either you may not own anything, you will not be happy. Whatever you want to do, unless you accept the reality, you cannot be happy, always disturbed. So this is absurd. Contemplation on an undefined abstract Brahman for an embodied soul, either as a means or as end, results in a sorrowful wreck. In reality, a jiva is Anu Chetan, or an atomic spiritual entity in essence. He is, Supreme Lord is Vibhu Chetan, or Vibhu Chaitanya. We are Anu, atomic, infinitesimal, but Chetan. Chetan means conscious. Chaitanya. He is infinitely big, we are infinitely small in comparison with him. But that is not a problem. In this world, we think the bigger you are, the more you have, the more you are happy. It is false, and it is also not true. The smaller you are and the less you have, you are happy. It is also false. Both is false. You cannot be happy. Happy is only Prahlad. That person understood. Only Prahlad is happy. Why? Because he is in the shelter of Supreme Lord and is always serving him. Mainly by Smaran Bhakti. Only by Smaran, by remembering Krishna, he is always happy because in contact with that absolute bliss. Always. So this is what we have to try for. Hence, to think of its identity with the nameless, unmanifest, infinite absolute is self-contradictory and sorrow-ending. That Brahma Jyoti is infinite. We are not infinite. Yes, qualitative oneness is there. We are spirit, that is spirit. But difference is also there. But they are not aware because of meager realization. It's not full realization of reality. But they feel that is ultimate. They are very proud also. They think we realized ultimate. I know I'm God. I realized. I'm creator. Just by having some slight experience that they are spirit, they think we know everything. Now I'm God. But that is not correct. But we cannot help them also. Only if they meet some really realized soul, pure devotee, they can rescue them from that false thinking. So, Bhakti Yoga is a practice of eternal bliss, both as means as well as end. During the process also, you are getting some bliss. And ultimately, when you are fully pure and fully dedicated above Maya, then that service is eternal. So always there is eternal bliss. But in other processes, first you have to do something, then you get the fruit and you can enjoy. Like in this world, you have to work 1 month, then you will get payment, then you can spend that money. But in devotion, process is same as the end also. There is difference also in quantity, but qualitatively is blissful. Like when you take one morsel of food, you are that much satisfied, that much nourished like this. Not yet fully, but something. Like that in sadhana bhakti, some fruits also already you are getting on the way, but ultimately that is eternal, that and complete, unobstructed bliss. Jnana Yoga apart from Bhakti Yoga, always produces evil, as it ends in dry Gnosticism. Hence, the worship of the impersonal, inert, all-pervading, unmanifest, undefined principle is misleading and destructive, as it does not stand to Shastric reason. Shastric reason is you are eternal servant of Krishna. By serving him, you can be happy. That is ultimate purpose of Shastra. Not to merge yourself in impersonal Brahman. Tomorrow we will hear about the appearance of Vyasadeva. He is a realized soul, but he also played the pastime of not understanding for our teaching. He wrote Shastra for getting money, for getting fulfillment of desire, for getting worldly duty, but he was not happy. Even he wrote Shastra for this liberation, how to attain this type of liberation, but he was not happy. Then he was wondering why I'm not happy. Then because when we don't know, we have to take shelter of Guru. He knows, he's a teacher. So he took shelter of his Guru Narad and asked him, why I'm not happy? I did so much good for the people. In return, I should also have happiness. Why I'm not getting? Then Narad told him, he asked, what you did? I said, I gave this. Then he said, no, that is you have increased the disease of jivas. You did wrong. So how you can be happy? Jiva is eternal servant of Krishna. You have to serve Krishna for his satisfaction. Then you can be happy. Then he wrote Bhagavatam. Tomorrow we will hear about this. And he became happy. So ultimate point of Shastra is devotion to Krishna. Because Shastra is merciful. So Shastra wants the best for us. Best. And the only thing naturally, eternally natural is devotion to Krishna. Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyaneva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha mayaveshita chetasam. But those who concentrate all their actions to the manifest absolute, that is to say, to me, ever bent and intent on me alone, concentrate on and worship me with single-minded devotion, are in no time, O Partha, rescued by me from the ocean of ceaseless rounds of births and deaths. Manifested absolute means when Krishna appears in this world as descent or avatar, and thus his lila here, or as his deity form, deity is Krishna himself, or as his name, holy name, all these are manifested. Krishna is always doing his pastimes in Golok Vrindavan. We are unable to see with these eyes. But out of compassion, Krishna also appears in this world so that he is visible to all and he gives us the scope of serving him. So those who have enough sukriti and can awaken devotion, they will worship his manifest form in this world. That it is manifest does not mean that it is material, only means it appears in this world and visible to all, but not all will recognize. So like name, deity, even Tulsi, Srimad Bhagavatam, Guru, Vaishnav, they're all mercy of Krishna manifest in this world. So one who will worship him in this way either by chanting his holy name with devotion or serving deity with devotion, serving Guru Vaishnava, all this, then he will be rescued by Krishna himself from this ocean of births and deaths, those miseries. In this world, there is a forest fire. Material existence like a forest fire, always misery. No peace, no happiness. Because those jivas who have turned away from Krishna, not wanting to serve him, wanting to enjoy this Maya, they got this false ego and false interest. And they are fighting with others who also have false ego and false interest, and they are fighting, all the time fighting. Or they will cooperate also for the fulfillment of their selfish desires, but that will also not last. Ultimately, there will also be fighting. So this world is like this, all the time fighting between false egos. So it is like a forest fire. One bamboo will rub another bamboo and forest fire will come automatically. So no one can stop this. As long as false ego is there, false interest will be there, and false desires, for all this will happen. But even some devotee who staying in this world, if he can transcend, if he can go above false ego, in this world he can realize I'm eternal servant of Krishna and has no false ego and no false interest. Even while staying in this world, he will not experience miseries. Krishna will maintain him, Krishna will protect him, or even if something externally may happen, but that devotee, he's not misidentifying with matter, so he will not feel any miseries. So the main thing is we have to come out from this. That is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, first Cheto Darpana Marjanam, by chanting holy name, first effect will come, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, your heart will become pure. All other desires will be removed. And then false ego will not be there also. Because from false ego, false desires are coming. So that will be removed. Then Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. One will be rescued from this forest fire of worldly existence, and all miseries included will be extinguished. And that can be done individually. It is not that whole world must be pure devotee, then I will be happy. No. Even if whole world is pure devotees, they are pure devotees. If I have false ego, I will suffer because of my own wrong mentality. But whole world may be demons, cheating, lying, violence, everything. But if I am pure devotee, I transcended false ego, I will not have any misery. You have example Prahlad Maharaj. All demons. But he was peaceful, happy, and adjusted with everything. Krishna always protecting him, maintain everything. So our main business is, and our first business is, to rectify ourselves. We cannot solve our problems by trying to change environment or change others. That will not work. You cannot do that, and also you will be frustrated and it will not work. Unless you give up your wrong desires, wrong mentality, and surrender to Krishna, there can be no solution to the problem. I am the problem. My wrong mentality, my wrong desires, all this. But immediately if I can surrender to Krishna unconditionally, all ills and sufferings will go, our Gurudev used to say. All ills and sufferings will go immediately. So for this we have to strive, we have to try Under the guidance of surrendered soul, we have to learn this surrender. Then, when we can do, then we'll be rescued from all miseries. Here Krishna saying, I will rescue them from all miseries. And that is only one side. You will have no miseries. But another side is you will have fulfillment of heart, absolute bliss, absolute happiness in the service of Krishna. Even while staying in this world, among all hostile people or anything. Prahlad Maharaj, you can see. Ambarish Maharaj, you can see example. Haridas Thakur, you can see example. And so many others. So it depends on us. I have to rectify myself, then I can get benefit. Here explanation, single-minded devotion to the eternal beautiful human form of Krishna is the characteristic trait of the devotees. So Krishna delivers them from this ocean of death-dealing world. This is Mrityu Loka. All the time death. Mrityu Loka. Mrityu means death. The world of death. In Svarga Loka, they are living longer time, but still they will have to die. But here in this world, it goes more fast. So it is called Mrityu Loka. The theory of oneness with Brahman is an anathema or death to a jiva and the source of endless misery. It is death because we are not engaged in the service of Krishna. We may have false ego, I am this, and doing some work and enjoying, but they are thinking I'm one with Brahman. So they're more convinced of that is the thing. So they are more denying their eternal servitude to Krishna. So actually for the Jiva soul, that is misery. I heard there one devotee was there in India. He had one program, devotional program, for many days. They were practicing devotion. So one lady came and she attended, and then ultimately she said, actually you rescued me. I was meditating that I am one with Brahman. And I thought that is the highest thing. But now, after experiencing this devotion to Krishna, now I feel that that was like a wound in my heart, actually great pain, but I could not realize before. I thought that is the supreme, like not having these worldly miseries, that is supreme. But now in comparison with devotion, I can understand that was a wound to my heart. I could not get fulfillment which Jiva hankers for and can get in the service of Krishna in her natural function position. Then that time they can feel. Or those 4 Kumaras, after getting devotion to Krishna, they said, before we were meditating on that impersonal Brahman, but after now getting the grace of pure devotee, now we gave up that sinful activity. They understood that is sin. It is sinful activity. It is actually true. Why? Because we are eternal servant of Krishna. We don't want to serve him. We don't want to work anything. Neither bad work nor any work. Just like finish yourself. That is also wrong. We are meant to be utilized for the service of Krishna. That is happiness. So that is sinful activity. So here, endless misery. Although there is no material misery there, no mental and physical misery, But for soul it is misery because not getting that fulfillment of devotion to Krishna. From what has been said in chapter 6, verse 11, it follows that the ultimate goal of the impersonal monists who hold the theory of oneness with Brahman and merge their existence in this unmanifest neuter aspect of the Absolute by constant contemplation is a great, unwholesome, and untenable principle, which deprives them of eternal bliss accruing from eternal loving service of the all-beautiful Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. This is the point. There we are deprived of service, so that is why that is misery. And it is unwholesome, means unhealthy. Healthy for Jiva is service of Krishna. That is healthy activity. Mai eva mana adatsva maye buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdvam na sangshayaha. Concentrate then thy mind on my eternal beautiful human form. Fix thy pure intelligence in my service and rely on me alone. That is very important. Rely on me alone. Don't rely on others. Don't rely on yourself. That is also wrong. We have to rely on Krishna. He is omnipotent, omniscient. He knows what is good for us. Then, undoubtedly, thou shalt attain eternal habitat with and pure love for me, the ultimate end of sadhana bhakti. So sadhana bhakti means this, that we have to get concentration of our mind to the object of worship, that is Supreme Lord. Then practicing this sadhana bhakti, in different sadhana bhakti forms are there, ultimate end will be to attain love, pure love for Krishna. That verse Rupa Goswami gave, Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavas sadhana vidha nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatam hridi sadhyata. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When one engages his senses, now we are conditioned souls. So when one engages all the senses, gross and subtle and also spiritual souls, under the guidance of pure devotee, with the view to attain love of God, to purify our from all other desires and to attain love of God, that is called sadhana bhakti. Devotion in practice, beginning stage. Then nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatam hridi sadhyata. That eternal love for Krishna, which is in the heart of every living entity, now dormant, will become awakened, will be manifested, will be revealed. It is not unnatural for us, it is natural. Our natural function. It is not artificial imposition on the mind, on the soul. No, it is natural. Now we are in unnatural activities. So by practicing this sadhana bhakti under the guidance of pure devotee, we can awaken that. So now in this Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel and hypocrisy and cheating and all these things, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, Krishna himself appeared in the form of Guru, knowing that it is very difficult to find bona fide Guru. Shiva told to Parvati, in this Kali Yuga, you will find many so-called Gurus who want to take money from their disciples. But very rarely you can find Guru, real Guru, who will take away misery from disciples by prescribing devotion to Krishna. Very rare. So Mahaprabhu, Krishna knowing, is very difficult. So he himself appeared in the form of Guru, and he told what is the best sadhana. Because purpose of sadhana is to get remembrance of Krishna. Forgetfulness of Krishna is wrong. Source of all misery, all everything. So we have to remember Krishna, think of Krishna. This is the purpose of all sadhana. Purpose of sadhana is not to do so many rounds of chanting or do so many dances. Purpose is to get remembrance of Krishna by doing those things. So there are different forms of sadhanas, but the most easy and the most effective, because it is given by most merciful Supreme Lord, and it can be done by all, is to chant his name without avoiding tenfold offenses, to chant his name. Then by this chanting, we will get remembrance of Krishna. And when our heart will be sanctified, purified, then in that heart, from chanting this name, Krishna's eternal form will be revealed. Then we can think of that, meditate. Here it says concentrate. And on his qualities, on his associates, pastimes, form, everything. Naturally it will come. From purely chanting this holy name. It is most easy process. And it can be done at any time, any place, any circumstance, and by anyone. A sick, old, poor, anyone can do. And everything is contained in the name. It's not different from Krishna. All name, form, everything is there, but we are not realizing. We can realize by sincerely chanting under the guidance of pure devotee. Then this is the best sadhana in this age, Kali Yuga. By this sadhana bhakti, nir aparadanam loile pai prema dham. Chanting this Harinam without offenses, one can get prema dham, ultimate goal of life, that is love of Krishna. Here Krishna is saying. So tomorrow is a very auspicious day. It is the appearance day of Vyasadeva, Guru Purnima, and also this appearance day of Sanatana Goswami. So we will hear about their glories and pray their grace.